listening to the LOZ Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the LOZ Podcast Network. Another episode. You might be watching us in the LOZ app, or you might be listening to us on KRMS radio on Saturday from 10 to 11. And I have a guest that I have on with me all the time because we love her, Dr. Genevieve Bendeck with NeuroCare Center. Dr. Genevieve, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today, Ken.
You know, we love having you on because you help us through the stuff that's going on. We talked in the last episode about, the holidays and having to deal with our family. So hopefully everybody got through that okay. And we were able to get people through with all your helpful insights into how to deal with that mother-in-law who won't stay away from all those good topics. And with 2026, now that we're in a brand new year, we thought we would tackle what I think is a very important topic out there. You hear it all the time, and I think people have so many misconceptions about it, but ADHD. Tell me, what is ADHD?
That's a great question. It's one of those that I'm very passionate about. Most people think about ADHD like being scattered or distracted or flaky sometimes and unreliable. And what is really happening is almost the opposite. It's actually an overload. So it is an overload of attention. So everything is coming all at once, like too many thoughts, sensations, all the inputs are happening. It's almost like having 10 or 100 conversations at the same time. And you don't have a filter that actually helps you to regulate on the real time. So it is a really, for someone who has ADHD that struggles with that, it is hard because it almost feels like you want to really hold your brain and you're really not able to choose what to do at that moment.
Well, what are some of the biggest challenges people with ADHD actually face in daily life?
Yeah, one of the most important things that I think it is not, when people think about the challenge, it's like, like this kid gets distracted or they forget things, but that is only the surface. It goes deeper than that. So the challenge is like living with a brain that is always processing information more than it could comfortably holds, right? So it's caring deeply, so much so, but still missing details, for example, or wanting to follow through and feel like, your brain won't really like support you or help you, or, knowing that you're really capable and constantly wondering if you're actually going to make it and, feel harder just to like do the work or initiate the work and noticing other people doing the things that you want to do and you're not able to actually either accomplish or feel like you're always behind. So over time, that gap between your effort and your outcome or the results from your effort, it changed people's perspective about themselves. It changed, their self-esteem or their identity, not because they're weak, but because, they're working harder or twice as harder than, they should to accomplish something that they perceive others are, is easy for them.
And that stigma is tough, and it's especially tough on our kids, right? I mean, there's a lot going on. I think a lot of kids get this label early with ADHD, and it can affect kind of, long term how they deal with it. Because, I mean, a lot of them are getting diagnosed with this in early in school, right? I mean, so how does that affect the children when they're, being labeled with ADHD at such a young age?
Absolutely. When you think about someone with ADHD, you see someone, outside that looks normal. Nothing is wrong with them as someone that is completely normal because all the deficits are inside. They are invisible sometimes, right? Unless you actually know that person has it. So, I think it's one of the most painful challenges that any ADHD goes because of that reason. Because the processing that they go through and the behavior that they actually express, it is really misunderstood as someone that is defiant or someone that is not listening or someone that is disruptive. So a child goes through the moments where maybe, it's trying to pay attention. And then the teacher just finished, the instruction. And then that child asks again, what do I need to do? And it gets the response to like, you're not paying attention in front of the class, and
Yeah.
that gets, it hurts. And the more they listen to those labels, you're lazy, you're flaky, you're not paying attention, the more they start believing it. And then they start matching those labels. And it's very hard to actually get out of the cycle for a very long time. And so sometimes they go through their entire life feeling incapable, feeling broken.
Yeah, and it's funny because you want to make sure that you're helping people. And I think in most cases, anytime you recognize something in someone that you want to help out, but ADHD can mask itself, like you said, as, oh, I'm not paying attention to you, or I'm not interested in what you're doing, or your mind's somewhere else. And that's just not the truth. They're trying probably twice as hard to pay attention, but not being successful at it. And so it can be a little defeating, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not about defiance, but the people will see that, right? The people will see like, this is this kid that doesn't really care, is not paying attention. And then probably they really, really want to, because it's not about, like really attention. It's like that working memory is not able to hold the information. Sometimes it's not able to discriminate what to pay attention to. And so in that overload, they miss out and then they feel bad about themselves. So they're already feeling bad. They're feeling like there's something wrong. They feel like they look at other, the classmates, their students, being able to retain information. And they're like, what's going on? Why is it that I can't really pay attention or hold that information or really understand what the teacher is saying? And so instead of really going straight to labeling, being curious about, okay, so what is hard right now for you in that brain? Like instead of saying like, you're not paying attention, you're not listening, just do it. Being able to like really sit down with the child and just ask more questions. It's like, is it hard for you because you're distracted with, maybe it's the placement. Maybe they just need visual things. Maybe they just need, like someone to cue or prompt them. So especially with auditory, just instructions, that auditory processing is really hard for someone with ADHD. So using tools and curiosity to help our kids, even adults sometimes, it is more helpful than just that painful labeling.
Well, and that's a great pivot into, if someone's out there listening, a parent, a teacher, an adult, what are the things that they actually helps? I mean, what can they do that actually can help?
Well, like the most powerful place to start is something very simple that really make the brain visible, right? So we talk about, ADHD happens inside our brain, right? So the best is to bring the internal to the external. So instead of remembering, we write. Instead of like holding time, we use timers. Instead of tracking steps, we use visual plans. So visual, being able to really have that body system, use a lot of like different types of, just learning material, different times, even with parents, right? Sometimes we're like, I tell my kid, like to go do something. And then I found them in the room playing video games. What happened is
Right.
It's not that they didn't want to listen to the parent. It's like, as soon as they turn around, that information left the brain. The brain doesn't tell them, hey, I'm just going to just dump this information. It actually does it. It is not able to hold it. So when they go to the room, they forget what they were going to. And so they would just like, okay, they see a game or something and start playing.
Well, and it seems like it's prevalent with a lot of people out there. I know it's probably an umbrella that covers a lot of different problems that are going on in the brain, but that attention deficit is one that everybody kind of points to first and says, okay, we're having problems with this. If somebody wants to come see you and talk about it and get some help, how do they find you?
They can go to our website or they can call our phone number. Absolutely. We have many different supports with executive function supports. We have groups. We have individual one-on-one therapy, especially for ADHD or ADHD coaching too.
And that is neurocarecenterllc.com if you want to go to the website, or you can also give them a call. And that is at 573-217-4767. And they can talk. You can talk to Dr. Genevieve. I love talking to her because she's always got something good to show us. Everybody loves to hear you and what you have to say, and we learn so much when you come on the show and talk to us about different things going on in our lives. And ADHD is definitely one that we all have. If we're not struggling with it, there's somebody probably in our family that is, or somebody close to us, right? It's just that prevalent.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show again, and we will have you on again because we love these topics. We'll keep tackling these each time, and we'll try to give our listeners and our viewers a way to kind of deal with them, and then also a way to get in contact with you so they can absolutely start working on themselves. Because 2026, we want to be the year we work on ourselves, right? And I think you're about that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Knowing our brain, knowing how we work is very important. It's the key.
All right, everybody, you heard it. Dr. Genevieve Bendeck, she's here to help. We can call her anytime we want. Neurocare Centers. Go to neurocarecenterllc.com if you want to see everything she's doing. And thanks for coming on the show again, and we will have you back really soon.